Hey guys, the chicken is here. Whoa, already tripping. We are back today with another home gym video. And in today's video, guys, what I thought would be fun to talk about was some of the worst equipment purchases or just home gym purchases in general that I've made to hopefully help you guys out with whatever you decide to get for your home gym. So I'm going to go over stuff that is either here right now or things that I've sold and just stuff that was, maybe not a good idea, excuse me, overall. So first things first, one of the things that I bought initially and then sold was the was the Rogue Scout Hyper, which might be a little bit controversial because I know it's a really hot home gym piece, but for me, I had never used a reverse hyper before, so this kind of ties into the anything really that you've never used that you think's going to be good. If you can, if it's at all possible, try to actually use the thing before you buy it. I know it sounds obvious and it might be kind of silly to some of you, but yeah, not everything feels as great as you think it would. For me, I have a very imbalanced kind of lower back strength to leg strength, and I've always had a little bit of lower back pain. So I thought it just made sense, but when I actually started to use it, I was like, I could live without this. It's the reasons I didn't like it was because it was a bit of a pain to set up, and the biggest thing was I just didn't love how it felt. I felt like I could do hamstring curls with a band and mimic a similar feeling. So that was probably number one, the thing that I spent the most money on that I really didn't enjoy or didn't end up keeping. Yeah, so what else did I sell here? There's a few other things, but one of the things that I almost did, that I pulled back, was I was going to buy a functional trainer. And, I feel like that's a mistake for most people depending on your space and your budget because, there's a lot other cheaper options. Sure, a functional trainer is awesome to have. You have the room for it and you can get like the Inspire FT1 or something like that, like something around $2,000. There's unlimited things you can do with it, but there's also a lot of things you can do with like a single stack thing or with bands, or we see with like the Rep Aries, like there's a lot of rack attachment kind of functionalities that are coming out in that same space. So yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting space to watch, and it just didn't make sense. So the thing that I was looking at, I was going to get one custom made for my ceiling height, because the problem is for me is I wouldn't have enough room to put an actual functional trainer. So I was going to get one that was actually cut to 72 inches. It was going to be like $4,000, and I was close to pulling the trigger. I was right there, but I ended up not doing it because I was like, you know what, I'll find something that's going to be cheaper, that's going to make more sense. Yeah, so for me, that was one of the things that I really kind of almost, thankfully didn't, but almost messed up on. So next up, the belt squat is awesome. I wouldn't necessarily say this is a big mistake because I do love this as a bench press, but do I necessarily need a squat rack and a competition style rack? No. I mean, if I was to do it over again, I probably would get some sort of machine instead of this and get an adjustable bench that I could pull in and out of the rack, which would be a little bit easier, a little bit more functionality, a little bit cheaper, a little bit more space saving. Don't get me wrong, I love the strong arm combo, and it is amazing. But if I were to do it over again, I would probably get like some kind of, machine, like some kind of machine that I missed from the gym instead, because this was not cheap. It's a lot more expensive now, so I got it at a great time. But yeah. Next up, I think this is not really for me, but I think a mistake a lot of people make is getting either too many barbells or specialty barbells. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a good barbell. I love blowing money on barbells. Like, it's very easy to do, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, do you really need multiple power bars, or especially bars that do the same thing? You should get something that that you're going to use. And this kind of goes back to my very first point, was buying stuff that you've never used before is typically not a great way of making purchases for your home gym. It should be either something that you have experience with from a normal gym, or now that things are, kind of opening up again, knock on wood, if you can go into the space or the warehouse or the fitness depot or whatever it is, and actually try this stuff out, that's the best way to do it. I'm looking right now at getting a PowerTech. That might be one of my next purchases. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm gonna go and actually physically try it out to make sure that it feels right before I get it. I think that's a better way of doing things. So you guys let me know down below in the comments, what are some of your biggest mistakes of home gym purchases that you've made, or something that you would do over again, maybe that you're not, you know, I'm not at the point where I would sell this. Like I do love it, but yeah, maybe looking back at things, maybe not the best purchase, but yeah. Oh, also the plyo box that I have it's literally, as you can see over here, it's literally just a table. So that was a mistake, because I literally bought it just to do box squats on, and it's too high to do box squats on. I mean, you can do it, but it's just kind of awkward. And if I am going to do box squats, then I pull the bench out from the combo rack and I just use that instead, because it's at like the perfect height. So that was a mistake, but I mean, it was cheap. I think it was like under 200 bucks, and I need a table down here. I need somewhere to put all my stuff, and I don't have the reverse hyper anymore, which made an excellent table, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, that's probably what I used the hyper for the most, honestly, was just having it here. It was just like that perfect like leaning height. So I do miss that, but for 700 bucks, I think we can work around that one. But you know what's funny? Now that I look at it, I was gonna end the video, but this chalk bowl that I have from I think it's Gorilla Fitness. Now this is funny because it kind of goes against what I just said. Now when I was in the gym, I was a chalk whore. Like I had the stuff all over me all the time, loved it. But as soon as I got like a really high quality barbell, I haven't had the need to use chalk at all. And when you have to clean it up every time, it does become kind of a pain in the ass to use. But I rarely, if ever, use chalk. The only thing that I do with it now is I clean out the bugs that kind of find a little home in there. Yeah, like if I'm going for an all-out PR on a squat or a deadlift, I will throw some on. But, you know, I don't really need it. Like, I've never dropped this bar due to grip issues, which is kind of strange because when I had the Ohio Power Bar, I remember at the time, you know, I had taken like a year off. At this point, I can almost deadlift 500 pounds, but with the Ohio Bar, when I was at 405, it was slipping out of my hands. Now, for context, I have some like tendon issues in my finger. Like, I can't make a full fist with this hand. Another video for another day, but so my grip strength is always kind of non-existent. But yeah, so for whatever reason, the Ohio Bar always slips out of my hands. This one, no issues whatsoever. I could do block pulls with 500 plus and not have any problem holding on the bar. So yeah, quality barbell, man. It's worth its weight in gold for sure. But yeah, so the chalk bowl, that didn't really make much sense. Even though I did at the time and I did in my head because I loved using it, but just ended up not being that practical for me. The bicep, tricep thing, I do enjoy that. I guess next would be that fan on the wall. I never run it, and when I do, it trips the breaker, which is kind of surprising because it's just a fan. Typically, they're under like 1 amp. Yeah, so that's kind of... I don't use it. I mean, it sits there. It looks kind of cool, so it's, you know, for whatever it was, like $40. It's a nice wall decoration, but not the most practical thing again. The Kabuki bar I love. And yeah, I don't know. So the moral of the story, just make sure that you're actually going to use whatever you're purchasing, or at least you have some experience with it, or you're not buying a really expensive barbell before you get a chalk bowl holder. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Let me know down below in the comments some of your guys' biggest home gym mistakes. Interested to see that one. And as always, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Closing in on 1,000. When we do, I'm going to get like a nice camera, really up the video quality and all that stuff. So thank you guys, as always, and we'll catch you next one. Chicken out, back.